In a new poll, Vivek Ramaswamy is tied with Ron DeSantis for the GOP primary. I'm going to level with you guys right now. I don't see a path for either of them to win the primary in a traditional means. That is to say, based on who Donald Trump is, based on who these guys are. If there was an election held today in normal parameters, Trump wins. The reason I say it that way is because Trump is being criminally charged again and again and again. He might be in jail. I mean, who knows? So there is a potential path for Vivek and Ron DeSantis to make it to be the nominee, but it's not going to be the traditional means. Now, to the main point here, Vivek Ramaswamy tying with Ron DeSantis is a big deal. For one, I'm a big fan of Vivek. I've had him on the Culture War last week while I was out. He got to sit down and have a conversation with Seamus and the crew, talking about a lot of issues, and he's a smart guy. He's one of the best when it comes to the issues. He knows all about this. He's business savvy. He is a fantastic candidate for the Republican primary. But I don't know. Where does he end up? VP? Probably not. Maybe some cabinet position would be really great. We'll see. The big issue with this story is, where does Ron DeSantis stand? And he seems to be dropping in the polls consistently, with Vivek now tying him for second in at least one poll and coming up in a close third in another. Something's wrong with Camp DeSantis. Now, I'm not here to rag on Ron DeSantis. I can say it now. I can say it yesterday. I can say it tomorrow. He is the best politician we have in this country when it comes to policy and leadership. In Florida, no question, it was amazing. However, despite all of those victories, despite all of the reasons people have to choose him over Trump, he is sinking in the polls. Unfortunately for Ron DeSantis, the people he's surrounded with and the fans of his campaign, they're too abrasive. They don't accept that they're facing serious problems. They get angry. They attack allies. And for that reason, I can only see Ron DeSantis sinking even further, unless he turns it around, which is entirely possible. I'd love to see it. Here's the news from Breitbart.com. Anti-woke businessman Vivek Ramaswamy is tied with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for second place in the Republican primary race. A Kaplan Strategies survey released Thursday found. The survey concluded that Ramaswamy has made significant strides since jumping into the presidential race, going from the bottom tier to tying for second place with double-digit support alongside DeSantis. As is consistent in other surveys, former President Donald Trump leads the pack in the double digits. Yeah, we get it. Trump's probably going to win. Both former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie and Senator Tim Scott come 7 points behind with 5% support each, et cetera, et cetera. We don't care about Haley or Pence, whatever. 1% chose Asa Hutchinson and 10% remain undecided. Quote, Ramaswamy outperformed 6 other hopefuls by more than double, marking a significant surprise in this poll, Doug Kaplan, founder of Kaplan Strategies, said, predicting that it is likely lower tier candidates will drop off, causing their voters to turn to either Trump, Ramaswamy, or DeSantis. They say, despite DeSantis' favorable rating of 59% amongst GOP voters, Kaplan suggests that Ramaswamy may have the potential for a higher ceiling, as he is less well known amongst Republican voters, with a 27% uncertainty rate. Meanwhile, the poll underscores the unwavering support President Trump holds within the GOP. Despite the crowded field challenging him, Trump boasts a combined 69% favorability rating, leaving little room for uncertainty. Now, before I read further, I want to stress, I'm not here to rag on DeSantis, okay? But I mean, look, there's bad news coming. Tying with Ramaswamy? I mean, you got DeSantis, who wins Florida by 1 million votes. Tying with somebody else? I can understand DeSantis in second position behind Trump. I can understand Trump winning. But Ramaswamy coming up, tying now? That's bad news for Camp DeSantis. But here is the latest poll posted by Interactive Polls. This one's Rasmussen. Ramaswamy's at 3% in this poll. Okay, so as much as I'm a fan of Vivek, let's just make sure we're considering all factors here. I'm not going to come out and just be like, look at this one poll, Ramaswamy's the best. I'm going to be like, wow, it's interesting. There is a poll showing this. Slight margin of error, not that great. Bad news for DeSantis in any capacity. But right now, when we look at the latest 2024 National Republican primary, this could be due to new data. It could be because there's a blips in some of these surveys. DeSantis, second place, 13%. Unsurprising. He should be in second place, I believe. And I do think it would be fantastic, and I'd love to see it, if the DeSantis campaign could turn things around. But, dude, I got to tell you guys, DeSantis campaign, you need to fire your communications people absolutely just get rid of these guys. Your surrogates on Twitter are destroying your campaign, and your fans ain't helping either. I see Mike Cernovich tweeting about it, and I agree. Even when I defend Ron DeSantis, I still get insulted by people. It's ridiculous. And then I'm talking to these DeSantis supporters, and they're like, yeah, but Trump supporters do this. You know, you've got Alex Brusowitz and Laura Loomer. And I'm like, yeah, but dude, you may get some flack, sure. I'm going to tell you this. I don't know your experience. I can only tell you that I literally, in a morning segment, called for an investigation of Donald Trump into the criminal murder of an 8-year-old American girl. I've said it 7 or 8 times in the past several months. I'm not saying Trump's guilty. I'm saying, why don't we investigate those things? We have libertarians come on this show and outright call Trump a war criminal. And I don't get that level of vitriol that I get from DeSantis supporters. Tell me I'm wrong, whatever. Don't care. That's the reality. I would love it. I was for Ron DeSantis last year. Man, his fans really are angry and just, wow. And if their justification is that, well, but, you know, Alex Brusowitz and Laura Loomer are vicious too, and they post these things, I'm like, then why are you yelling at me? What the? Yeah. For those reasons. Obviously, you can see that you can hear the exasperation. DeSantis is sinking. Currently, Ron DeSantis in the prediction market holds a 20 cent to Trump's 57. Vivek Ramaswamy at 13 cents. So it really is Trump, DeSantis, Ramaswamy. I got to tell you, it's early. And a lot of people are saying it's early for Ron, too. Fair point. But it's early for Vivek. Ron's got years behind him as governor of Florida. People know his name. Vivek Ramaswamy is a newcomer, and he is skyrocketing in the prediction markets, skyrocketing in the polls. DeSantis better watch out. Now, some people have suggested it could be a Trump-Ramaswamy ticket. I don't know if Vivek is a VP kind of guy. I think Vivek is more of a cabinet member kind of guy. I wonder what it is. You know, honest question. Like, what makes someone presidential? Donald Trump has the X factor, no doubt. Ron DeSantis, a little bit. He really does. DeSantis doesn't have the same level of X factor as, say, Barack Obama. And I'm not talking about charisma. I'm talking about X factor, whatever that means. It's like the special quality that you can see someone as the president. Ron DeSantis certainly has it way more than the likes of McCain or Mitt Romney, but nowhere near as close as Donald Trump. And nowhere near as close as Barack Obama, to be completely honest. And honestly, Joe Biden has almost none, so I'm surprised that happened. But, you know, that's another question. But Vivek Ramaswamy, I will say this. As a fan of Vivek, and I want him to succeed, I don't see that X factor. You know, like, just think in your head and imagine a vice presidential or presidential Vivek Ramaswamy. And I mean this with no disrespect. There's something lacking. I don't know what it is. And maybe Ramaswamy, you know, I've talked to him several times. You know, maybe he'll hear what I'm saying and try and figure that out. Or maybe his real goal is just to positively influence the conversation and guide whoever does become president into addressing real issues, the issues that he thinks are truly important. I said it to his face. I was like, look, I don't think you're going to win. I think ultimately you're coming on the stage so that you can have a positive impact on the discourse and the conversation and solve problems. And, you know, look, he's here to win it. He's going to say it. But look, we've seen it all before, right? How many people are just running so that they can come out and get like one issue on that debate stage to try and get it addressed? Some people are just running for book deals. I don't think the guy who's worth $500 million needs to worry about any of that. I think there's things he genuinely cares about. I think he's trying, but I think he's a smart guy. I think he knows. But what could that X factor be? I mean, what if, I don't know. Don't know what it is. RFK has it. RFK Jr. has it. But again, nowhere near as much as Donald Trump does. So, you know, I don't know how to describe X factor other than as that. It's like that, I don't know, immeasurable quality that you can see in someone. You're like, they could be president. And people mocked Trump. They said he didn't have it. But come on, dude. Of course he does. He's a big guy. He's boisterous, loud, aggressive. He's got it. Come on. They say Ramaswamy's rise has been captured in other surveys as well. The last Echelon Insight survey, for example, found him breaking in the double digits with 10% support, 6% behind DeSantis. He's got a bunch of these videos. There are two sexes. If you have XX chromosomes, you're a woman. If you have XX chromosomes, you're a man, period. Gender dysphoria is a mental health disorder. Affirming a kid's confusion isn't compassion, it's cruelty. That's the truth. Look, I got to tell you about Vivek, man. Nails it. What he tweeted here, I'm sure will trigger a lot of people, make them really angry. But he's not insulting people. He's not being overly emotional. He's playing it straight. I am excited to see what he brings to this primary season, to the stage. And you know what? If he wins, I'll be very, very happy. I will be absolutely happy to see Republican nominee Ramaswamy. In fact, I even said this when he was on. I'll vote for him in the primary. To be honest, I think Trump will probably win, so it's like, whatever. But I'd vote for him. I'd vote for him because I do think he's a good guy for the job. I don't know if he's the guy. Look, I got to be honest. When it comes to when it comes to the presidential race, foreign policy is my thing because that's what the president does. The president can set agendas and things like this, but Congress is affecting domestic legislation. The courts are interpreting law and things like that. The president plays a big role. I get it. But the president snaps his fingers over foreign policy. That's why it's so important that we get someone, I think, like Trump, who's anti-war. Or, look, to a certain degree, right? I'll take what I can get. That being said, Trump has done some pretty good things when it comes to foreign policy. And so we'll see. In the meantime, shout out to Vivek and best of luck. And to the DeSantis camp, guys, I want you to turn it around. I like Ron DeSantis. Stop the look. Let me give you some advice. All right. I mean it. If you're angry that there are prominent Trump personalities who are playing dirty, you are not going to beat them at their game. Ron DeSantis' appeal is good policy combined with tact, not taking the Trump approach of putting out fake images and fake videos and then defending having done it. You got to be real. You got to be authentic. And then all you got to do is ride DeSantis' record and you win. Please take the advice. Next segment's coming up in a few minutes. Stick around and I'll see you all shortly.